and we play game. Perfect. Okay, 3 of 4.
El hospital.
還元一級の先というのは、本当に誰も知らない字ばっかりでしょうね。私は、Okay, we've leveled up and it is time to pick another language. Morfar är tröttare än vanligt. Maten är färdig. And let's see what we're doing when we get back. Greek. We're doing Greek when we get back. Benedese. Her beautiful day. Fun fact. Turkish. Hello, Shakespeare. How you doing? Fun fact, in Spanish, the word for bishop in chess is alfil. And that actually comes from Arabic. Fil. The same word fil as this. Meaning elephant, because the bishop traditionally was to represent elephant units somehow. Similarly, in Russian, the word for bishop is squab, and that also means elephant. Ça, c'est ça, che c'est ça, non ça, c'est ça. Sol chi sa che nulla sa, ne sa più di chi ne sa. Ecco. Bonjour et bienvenue à Hyper Polyglotting avec Élise. Moi, c'est Élise, traductrice, éditrice et écrivain avec 20 ans de travail. Et ça, c'est la transmission en direct ou en jeu des jeux, surtout GeoGuessr en dernier temps. Et parle des langues, de la linguistique, de l'acquisition des langues. 10-159. Haven't made a huge dent in it, but we're getting there. Okay, gonna do some Chinese now. Night. Night. Come on. Yen. Yo. 5. Ducks are drinking wine. Bangba, okay, Bangbaz is duck. Okay, I have now leveled up. Let's see what the XP situation is now. 10,340 out of 12,500. And as always, viewers can choose my next language for me just with a follow and a $5 to my Patreon. Sotto le frasche del capanno 4 gatti grossi stanno. Sotto 4 grossi sassi, 4 grossi e grassi gatti. Un généreux déjeuner régénéré des généraux dégénérés. Un généreux déjeuner régénéré des généraux dégénérés. Facile. Sì, ecco, la gente... è la cosa che mi dice la gente, sempre che scoprisce che quante lingue parlo. Io sempre avevo l'impressione, diciamo, di che non era così, non era tan così, ma poi dopo di aver visto qualche poliglota in YouTube, una delle cose che avevo scoperte era giustamente che la metodologia usata da quella gente poliglota che non avevo mai conosciuta prima, era più o meno la stessa metodologia che usavo io. I buy a computer or what? And here's another example. I like to point these out. For this word for or sounds vaguely like Hogun and the Hok in Hogun in Korean or Waku in Japanese, and that appears it is the exact same kind of character.
Okay, let me see.
Un chasseur, ça change chasser. C'est chasser son chien de chasse.
Der dicke Dach.
Okay, der dicke Dachdecker deckt dir dein Dach, drum dank dem dicken Dachdecker, dass der dicke Dachdecker dir dein Dach deckt. Hola y bienvenidos al directo de Hyperpolyglotting with Elise. Yo soy Elisa, traductora, escritora y editora y comunicadora social con más de 20 idiomas de trabajo. Y aquí vamos a estar jugando videojuegos, sobre todo GeoGuessr, y hablando de idiomas, la mejor forma de aprenderlo y caleta más. Zwei Zwetschgenzweigen zwitscherten zwei tschechische Schwalben. Tres tristes tigres tragaban trigo en un trigal en tres tristes trastos. Oh, I see. This is Diche Ishai Fui, which means, do you want food? But, yeah, are you hungry? That's also. How are the boys? Cocine taco. Pozo Milao. Pote. Buenese. Proteine. Protopulo. In the designated chicken eating area, obviously. Okay, still 3 times I have to defeat him. And I don't have a whole lot of health left.
Liv. Monsieur.
See.
Livre. Liwe, livla.
Paks.
Mustan kissan paksut posket.
Matjeje.
Ja.
Ja. Si. Vysoký. Matjeje. Proč? Víte. Počkej. A. Si. Track 6.
Aspri petra xes aspri aptonilio xex asproteri. Aspri petra xes aspri apton ilio xes asproteri.
Den coginio panas.
Oh boy.
Ferra verda ferra vedri.
Hakab. Hefed. 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 Hek. 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 Саша по шоссе.
Саша по шоссе несла сушку на счастье и сосала сушку. Саша по шоссе несла сушку на счастье и сосала сушку.
Mwalimu.
This is Arabic. And it's from Mu'allim.
Juma ni mwalimu mke. Ирак чима в чипах чемп чавю ченчи чини. Чирак чима в чипах Чирак чима в чипцах чемп чавю ченчи чини. Бакакит альшит. Хикрine. Бакакит альши хикрine. Oh, thanks to cat sons. Meow and the pictures of the fish. They were proud.
syöpö, hupu, yrittävä, uraista, omena,
Are in the city center. And it's got some interesting aspects to it.
여자는 어느 나라에 있습니까? 여자는 어느 나라에 있습니까? 여자는 어느 나라에 있습니까?
Countries or living things.
兄の名前は
Lo que pasa es que bueno, la banera, esto se ve en tantos lugares, no es cuestión regional, sino más bien de un problema fundamental de la pedagogía oficial. Hello and welcome to Hyperpolyglotting with Elise. I am Elise, translator, writer, and editor with 20 working languages, and this is the stream where we play some GeoGuessr or sometimes other games and look at the best and worst of language YouTube. Gonna just get started with some GeoGuessr. So I get my windows where I need them. Clásico. Okay. Was sehen wir hier? Das ist ein ländliches Gebiet. Gerade Einbahnstraße. Echt? Also. Und in sehr gutem Erhaltungszustand. Also da denke ich gleich irgendwo in Westeuropa. Spanien wohl eher nicht, denn Bauernhöfe sehen ja eigentlich nicht so aus. Ich glaube, das ist Mais. Dann mal sehen. Gut. Nee, machen wir weiter. Ja. Frankreich vielleicht. Hier. Belgien. Irgendwann wird mal ein Schild auftauchen. Dann wir Näheres erfahren. Ilovice. それってさ、エスコとか、スロバキア、イロビツェって、どの辺かな。じゃあ、ドラホティ。ドラホティ。それも。ジェスコな地名帳ね。これか。多い中でしょ。チェスコかスロバキアが、今はまだそうなないんです。Hey Riveroon, how you doing? Someplace in either the Czech Republic or Slovakia. Oh, okay.
judging from the place names. Petlahve Plasti Sklo. Some place called Drahutin, which is near another place called Bilovice. Ah, Orlando Pimentel, como vai? Pretty area. Jedynie wozy. Skoko. Ah, Esperanto. Obec Drahuti. 市役所。それより村役所。ああ、ドラフト出ている。公式。千葉のナチェティン。Never heard of any of these places, but I'm pretty sure this is Czech. Very pretty in any case. Oh, I hope so too. I wouldn't mind a stress reduction as well. Oder Svatého Václava. Gambrinus. Projekty Jakuba Oravi. Mobiles. 見たことがあるね。Is there a main road coming up anywhere in our future? Motorway. Something that gives us a sign to that gives us a distance to a major city, or is this its own little very comely universe? Catch up with that bus and maybe get some idea. But I don't think we're catching up with that bus. Oh no, okay. Really? Maybe we are. Maybe we're over. Yeah, the bus has now disappeared. Zheng. Okay, now. Okay, that is the data point we needed. Drahoti. Ora svatyho Václava. Helin Černošin sebi. Žibro. Ladrubi. Benešovice. Nepomu. Ohti. Olinec. Orni Poržiči. Eskaku. Benec. Raka. Donova. Skid. Pavec. It's someplace, I think. Okay. Oh, wow, right, practically right on the border. Drahoti. 4860, not a bad start. Okay. Definitely less of a rural area. Also, it seems like a more southern latitude. Right side driving. And the signs are in English. City of Redondo Beach. Okay, that narrows it down a little bit. Okay, we're off to LA. Gertruda Avenue. Okay, see Catalina, Sia Maria. Everta, Irena, Juanita. Seems like Gertruda would be nearby then. Ah, here we go, Gertruda. Okay, now. Yes, an intersection. We have an intersection. Catalina and Gertruda. Oh wait, this is North Gertruda. Gemstone, Ronald, Mildred, Norton, Paulina, Diamond, Delamo. Cheryl, Sarah. Oh, there's North Gertruda. North Carolina. There we go. Gonna nail this one. Oh, there you go. We're done. There we go. Oh hell, not quite, but still good. $49.99. $98.59 so far, out of a possible 10,000. Okay, another one-lane road. Definitely looks like someplace warm. Giving kind of Southeast Asia, I feel. Opokorengan, Opi te este. Yeah, this is giving. I'm thinking Indonesia. Yeah, Indonesia probably, or Malaysia. Well, that's the sky. So... Malaysia or Indonesia? I'm thinking Indonesia. Operasi. Operasi, that tells me, yeah, Indonesia. Malay and Indonesian are kind of hard to tell apart. But one thing that they have that you can use to tell them apart is that when loan words that end in like Asian in English, Ation, show up in there's a difference because Malaysia was colonized by the British and Indonesia by the Dutch, and so, for example, asi comes from atsi, which is the suffix that is used in Dutch. Spelled differently but pronounced the same as Afrikaans, which also gets it from the same place. Whereas it tends to be in Malay, asien, because because they're phonetically adapting the English word. We are someplace in Indonesia. That is always a hard one. Indonesia is not just large, but it's spread out so much. I'm gonna say someplace around here. Just because I have no idea. Oh, not too bad. 3883. Okay. This is giving Britain. Yeah, yellow number plates too. Oh, there's a bid. Let's see. Does it say what local authority it is? Enfield. Oh, okay. We're in Enfield. That narrows it down. When I was in school, the problem we often had was finding Japanese teachers who would accept the pay that was available. So we cycled through large numbers of them. Some of them did and some of them didn't know Japanese. Okay, Enfield is a London suburb. I believe it's near Croydon. Town. Big enough. Orange. Wolseley, Pepperden, Buckshot. Oh, hope it's okay. Epping, Oak End, Bell Street, G. Ruislip, Wembley. I feel that Enfield is on the periphery, but I'm not exactly sure which periphery. London has a big periphery. Caterham. Shipstead sounds tasty. Finley. Let's see if we can get more information. Yeah, there's a good deal of comprehensible input in German available. These bay windows are one way you can pretty quickly tell you're in Britain because a lot of the housing there has them. This Edwardian architecture. Patient bathroom scented. Hoping we find an A road near here. That oh yeah, we got a sign. We got this full sign here. The roundabout coming up. Explain how it works. Southgate Shopping Center. Lions Southgate. Angle. Come on. Oh wait, here we go, is that? Ah, we have a tube station. Southgate Station. What line is that? Yeah, okay, so we are definitely... It's an underground station, not an overground or... Oh, Southgate Road. B. say what line. Six. Oh, hang on, that can help. London street signs often have the postcode. North London. Oh, Edmonton. Angel, almost Greenwood, Fort Hill. Enfield, there we go. Chill Park. Southbury. Italian trash videos? I'm curious as well. Breezy water. Turkey Street. Edmonton Street. Silver Street. Southgate. There we go. Is that Southgate Shopping Centre? Southgate Station. Okay. Ashmole Academy. Okay, so get back to where we started here. Find a street name. Not far from Southgate Station. Queen Elizabeth's Drive. Others. Winchgate. There's Winchgate. Queen Elizabeth's Drive. Oakwood Park and Groveland are my landmarks. 224 meters, 49.99. I'm not sure I understand what you mean by the question. An interesting question. But I'm not sure if I can completely understand the... Okay, definitely not London. Palm trees, definitely a warm place. Hey, Hyojong! Not too bad. A street name or something. Bardo Preto. Okay, we are someplace Portuguese speaking. I'm going to guess probably Brazil. I don't think the learning process works necessarily the same thing, because language is kind of a special... Human language is a special thing with very distinctive characteristics and specific areas of the brain that are involved in developing it. I don't really think the analogy works quite well, although I would say, I mean, especially because there's also there's recognizing, you know, there's hearing music, and then there's understanding exactly what's going on with it. And understanding how to reproduce it using whatever one's instrument is. Pancakes. Oh, I see. Pancake emoji. Okay. Pretty sure this is Brazil. Of course, where in Brazil it is the more complicated question, because Brazil is huge. There's quite a lot of Brazil. Okay. Vai por Paraná. Ok. A gente tem o estado. A gente tem a municipalidade. Tudo ok. Vamos. E vai por sounds very Guarani, that name. This fits given it's right near Paraguay and everything. Y vai por lá. $49.97. Not bad for regional Brazil. 23,738. Still not beating my record yet, but my record is 24,911. Still a respectable score by my standards. Okay, this feels Central European, maybe Northern European. Z drugim pracownia. Identycznej. You're in Poland. There's somewhere in Poland. Someplace that looks awfully German in Poland, so I'm gonna say Western Poland. Architecture just kind of has that German feel to it. Ostrugie. That's the street name. Puściny za Strugie. Sunshine Road. Co to je? Yeah, brakes are essential. You don't get enough of them. Apartamenti na sprzedaż. Okay, this is some sort of resort community type thing. Off in the mountain. They're selling a holiday apartment. Yeah, I feel like this is southwestern. But yeah. Trouble is, there's a bit of mountainous area in the south. It's not entirely clear. Yeah, Kazimir. Kraków! Okay, there we go. Or by Kraków. That simplifies things greatly. Okay. Guessing we're south of it. Zakopane. Okay. Okay, Zakopane. Here we go. Now, Grunwaldska. Małe Żywdziańskie. Sudzkie. Zastrugiem is what we're looking for. Oh, Białego. Jest. Tadziaku. Where is Zastrugiem? Lukaszówki. Wait, we have another street. Okay, there's for it's Organa. 49.92. Not bad. Okay, that's us through. Okay, this is giving very strong North America vibes. That is a US style fire hydrant. Mailboxes also giving North America. Okay, onto a major street, or a less minor street. Pick what one's got C. Speed limit, yeah. I saw. Okay, we are in the West. In those. In you. And build club. Skitty click. Central City Family Pharmacy. Okay, wherever it is, we're by a body of water. There are kayaking related businesses. Sawyer House. It Brewery, Central City, Iowa. Okay. Off to Iowa it is. Center, Sioux City, Marshalltown. Mount Pleasant, Luna, Sac City. Sergeant Bluff. City, Charles City. Central City, there we go. There's the Bit Brewery. So, Commercial Street. So let's get back to where we started. Where are we? 8th Street, 8th North, 8th Street North and Commercial. There we are. Well, you can always come back to Korean. 5,000, perfect score. Now we are back to palm trees and roads that make me think Southeast Asia. Batang, Rupiah. Okay, we are back, I believe, in India. Yeah, Indonesia, I'm thinking. Where in Indonesia? Always a bit of a question because Indonesia is very widely spread out. Well, it's... Let me just suggest, Hyojong, maybe it isn't so much that you're, like, good at failing, but that you haven't found the right kind of stuff to work with. What kind of... I think that, this is, like, exactly the sort of thing that I like to talk about on here. So, when you say you've been failing for way too long... Like, what makes you say that? Because I think a lot of the time, when people are having difficulty, it's because they haven't got the right materials, or they've got a lot of stress going on that is complicating matters. I mean, there are all sorts of things, but often it is a matter of just how you're going about it. And if you adjust how you're going about it, then your results improve. Sod it. I'm just going to guess because Indonesia is complicated. Oh, I was nowhere near it. Yeah, Indonesia is huge. I was 2,008 kilometers off. No worries. I understand about character limits. Oh, well, okay. I imagine you're... in what way are you back where you started, would you say? Okay, 4 out of 5. Definitely not breaking my record this time. Bloody Indonesia saw to that. With their multiple islands spread out so far and lack of signposting and my general lack of knowledge about the geography of Indonesia. And my extremely limited knowledge of the language as well. Okay, theoretically we may be in France. $2.22. Yeah, I think we're probably in France here. Well, having fun with it is actually more important than you might realize for your results. The more you actually are inherently enjoying what you're doing, the more that implicit learning is going to come into it. I mean, one thing I would say just first off is being patient with yourself is important, and being willing to give things times, but also at the same time be willing to reconsider the materials you're working with and the approach you're taking. Okay, we have a bit more of a major street here. Oh no, we are not in France. Servizi funerari due Cantuane. We are in Romania. Someplace. Like the key to this sort of thing. Okay. Currently, we're on Route 222. Yeah. I mean, and it's not just rediscovering what you loved about the languages, it's also very much about finding materials with which to 222, there we go. With which to experience the language that you inherently enjoy. That you actually inherently want, want to continue with. Okay. $45.09, not too bad. And this last one, and then we're gonna take a little bit of a bio break. I will be right back. Beacon Dune Festival, I think that says. Superstore, Sports Center. Okay, this is feeling like we're in Britain. Albert Court Retirement. Henley-on-Thames. Okay, we're back in the London suburbs. Or Essex or something. I feel like I've heard of Henley-on. Kingston-on-Thames. Walton, Staines, Farnborough, Aldershot. No, that's not what we Fleet on Town. Kingston. Sunbury-on-Thames, Ashford. New Water. Bolton. Oh, it's going to be on the Thames. That much is clear. Richmond, Isleworth, Strand on the Green. Putney Bridge, Wandsworth. I see. Lambeth. Vermont. Off. Okay. Woolwich. Okay, Bond. Bay. All Hallows on Sea, St. Mary Who? Yeah, the thing is, pretty much always, yeah. Well, I mean, the nice thing about the more effective language methods is they are overwhelmingly free. And another thing to remember when you feel like nothing is going on is that language acquisition is very much an implicit process. It's called implicit learning because, for the most part, you don't actually realize it's going on until it's reached a certain point. A lot of it is going on unconsciously. That's another reason that patience is important. A lot of the time it feels like nothing's going on, but then, you know, suddenly it will... Suddenly you will find that actually there's stuff that you understand that you hadn't previously. Contact. Let's see, can we get a road number? I mean, we know the approximate location. To do better than that. Muse. Newtown Business. Garage. Niagara Road. Yeah. I mean, we are definitely in England. And almost certainly south of London. Where the hell is Head Guntown? I'm just gonna have a wild punt and say southwest of London. Or around here. 4851. Ah, okay, all the way by Reading. Yeah, the name was familiar. Yeah, Indonesia screwed me up that time. Okay, I'm gonna take a little bit of a bio break. I will be back in just a moment. Hi, and welcome to Hyperpolyglotting with Elise. I am Elise, translator, editor, and writer with 20 working languages, and this is where we talk about languages and language learning and all sorts of other stuff, and we play games.
Perfect. Okay, 3 of 4.
El hospital
還元一級の先というのは、本当に誰も知らない字ばっかりでしょうね。私は
Okay, we've leveled up and it is time to pick another language. Morfar är tröttare än vanligt. Maten är färdig. And let's see what we're doing when we get back. Greek. We're doing Greek when we get back. Ben neredeyse her gün okula giderim. Fun fact. Turkish. Hello, Shakespeare. How you doing? Fun fact, in Spanish, the word for bishop in chess is alfil. And that actually comes from Arabic. Fil. The same word fil as this. Meaning elephant, because the bishop traditionally was to represent elephant units somehow. Similarly, in Russian, the word for bishop is skor, and that also means elephant. Okay.
C'est ça, che c'est ça, non ça, c'est ça. Sol chi sa che nulla sa. Ne sa più di chi ne sa. Ecco. Bonjour et bienvenue à Hyperpolyglotting avec Élise. Moi, c'est Élise, traductrice, éditrice et écrivain avec 20 ans de travail. Et ça, c'est la transmission en direct ou en jeu des jeux, surtout GeoGuessr en dernier temps. Et parle des langues, de la linguistique, de l'acquisition des langues.
10-159. Haven't made a huge dent in it, but we're getting there. Okay, gonna do some Chinese now. Night. Come on. Yeah. Yo. 5. Ducks are drinking wine. Bangba, okay, Bangbas is duck. Okay, I have now leveled up. Let's see what the XP situation is now. 10,340 out of 12,500. And as always, viewers can choose my next language for me just with a follow and a $5 to my Patreon.
Sotto le frasche del capanno 4 gatti grossi stanno. Sotto 4 grossi sassi, 4 grossi e grassi gatti. Un généreux déjeuner régénéré des généraux dégénérés. Un généreux déjeuner régénéré des généraux dégénérés. Facile. Sì, ecco, la gente... è la cosa che mi dice la gente, sempre che scoprisce che quante lingue parlo. Io sempre avevo l'impressione, diciamo, di che non era così, non era tan così, ma poi dopo di aver visto qualche poliglota in YouTube, una delle cose che avevo scoperte era giustamente che la metodologia usata da quella gente poliglota che non avevo mai conosciuta prima, era più o meno la stessa metodologia che usavo io.
I buy a computer or quack, and here's another example. I like to point these out. for this word for or, but sounds vaguely like Hogun and the hok in Hogun in Korean or Waku in Japanese, and that appears it is the exact same kind of character.
Okay, let me see.
Un chasseur, sachant chasser, ses chassés sont son chien de chasse.
Dicke Dach.
Okay, der dicke Dachdecker deckt dir dein Dach, drum dank dem dicken Dachdecker, dass der dicke Dachdecker dir dein Dach deckt. Hola y bienvenidos al directo de Hyperpolyglotting with Elise. Yo soy Elisa, traductora, escritora y editora y comunicadora social con más de 20 idiomas de trabajo. Y aquí vamos a estar jugando videojuegos, sobre todo GeoGuessr, y hablando de idioma, la mejor forma de aprenderlo y caleta más. Zwei Zwetschgenzweigen zwitscherten zwei tschechische Schwalben. Tres tristes tigres tragaban trigo en un trigal en tres tristes trastos.
Oh, I see. This is Diche Ishai Fui, which means do you want food? But yeah, are you hungry? That kind of thing. How are the boys?
Okay, I'm back, and I actually just had an idea for you, Hyojong, if you're still there, of a channel that might be good for you. Maybe you've already heard of it, but if you haven't, it has a lot to recommend it, both in terms of just being I find it entertaining, at least, and as a source of comprehensible input. It has bilingual subtitles, good English translations, and faithful Korean transcription. Have you heard of World of Dave? I'll show you some of that, I think. Playlists. Association of Dave's English lesson. Meun Dojon. The spicy challenges. These are my personal favorite. Because Jane is me when people when I go out for spicy food. Because I love spicy food. I have a very high spice tolerance. And these are just hilarious. And they're in Korean, but with good English subtitles. And with good Korean subtitles. So I'm gonna just check one of these out.
Oh.
Let me see. There we go. This is World of Dave. I'm gonna just link this in chat for anyone who wants to check out the channel, which I highly recommend. Yeah, I've never used Rosetta Stone. People used to ask me about that all the time. That was like the big thing for a while. But I mean, the thing about the really effective methods is they're also really the hardest to monetize, because so much of the material is just free. So you'll notice here right off the bat, this is one of the reasons that I like this for comprehensible input, is you've got the Korean here, oh, Jin was so, and the English, oh, Jane is here. And they're very consistent about that. Dave is actually from the States. He's lived in Korea for quite a long time, more than 10 years. And he speaks very good Korean, and and the people who he does these videos with are native speakers for the most part.
제인 왔어. 제인? 나야. 제인 왔어? 어?
This is giving North America.
뭐지?
여기 좀
안녕하세요. 미국인 데이브입니다.
안녕하세요. 한국인 제이입니다.
5.
Oh, yeah, and he's from Taiwan, but he speaks good Korean.
안녕하세요. 문경보라고 합니다. 문경보 내 친구예요. 물어보기 전에 지금 에리나 일본 다 있어요. 그래서 에리나 나올 수 없어서요. 그래서 오늘은 다음 매운 도전.
There's a whole playlist of these, and they're hilarious, specifically because of Jane. Because Jane, everybody else freaks out as they're having whatever these spicy things are, and Jane's just sort of eating it like, yeah, oh yeah, I could eat this. 맛있네.
Yes, spicy challenge with 주인공 제인. 제인 워낙 매운 거 잘 먹어서 이 도전도 해보고 싶었대요. 요새 유행하는 송주 불냉면.
불냉면. 불은 fire. 고 냉면 남조선의 발음인데 북녘에서 냉면 cold 면 noodles 불냉면 spicy cold noodles, fiery cold noodles.
이거 엄청 유명해요. 요새 엄청 핫한.
엄청 유명해요. 요새 엄청 핫하니까.
가 같이 친구들과 먹어보도록 하겠습니다. 송주시 가본 적 있어요? 강원도 송주시?
없어요.
송동이 가봤는데.
저 송송.
송주시에 엄청 유명한 냉면.
춘천은 닭갈비 뭐 이런 게
그런 거고. 근데
근데 우리야 송주 도시 아니야. See, so you can follow along in these subtitles in both Korean and English. And they just do these like funny videos, stuff like this. Some stuff on like cultural differences, spicy challenges, 770 area code that means nothing to me. It's just a company name, CycleWorks, never heard of them. Some place could be bloody anywhere in Canada or the US. I haven't seen in the US, speed limit 25.
구라야? 송주 도시 아니야? 그냥 이름이야?
송주
없어. 근데
승자하는 동네가 있는 줄 알았어. 거기서 불냉면이 유명한 줄 알았어.
나는 그런 줄 알았는데 검색해보니까 없더라. 동네 이름이 아니야? 아닌 것 같아. 검색해봤는데 없더라. Why? Are you scared?
무서운 거보다 그냥 일단 먹어보려고.
저번에 짬뽕 먹었을 때 뭐야? 잘 먹었더라.
나 무서워.
다칠 것 같아. 다칠 것 같아? 매운 거 못 먹어?
매운 거 너무 못 먹어.
진짜 짬뽕 먹어봤대.
Yes, the jampong one is classic.
신길동
진짜 그거
어때요?
한입 먹고서 한 30분 동안 아무것도 못했어. 뭐 우유 마시고
뭐 도전하고 싶대. 내가 뭐 억지로 하라고 한 적이 없어.
이거 꼭 다 먹어야 되는 거 같아.
And I mean, one thing I recommend when you have these well-translated subtitles, kind of doing a close reading isn't a bad thing to do. Like, do a close reading of the subtitles and then watch it a second or third time. Boca Raton Drive. Okay, are we in Florida? Bimini Drive. I mean, this could be kind of anywhere, and street names are sort of meaningless. In the US, they often don't tell you a whole hell of a lot. But that Boca Raton Drive sounds kind of specific. I feel like we might actually be someplace more specific. Might be in Florida. 아상의 양념장 등판. 빨간 맛 소스. 자르르르르. 소스는 소스. 빨간 맛.
벌써 땀 나네. 여러분 요새 날씨 엄청 덥죠? 작년 여름에 이렇게 안 더웠던 것 같은데?
94년
Also drop this video link in the Discord, just in case Hyojung isn't here to check this out. Oh, okay, perfect. I was just, while I was on my little break, I had a thought of something, and I was wondering if you've ever heard of it. As a bit of Korean comprehensible input that is very user-friendly, and personally I find quite entertaining. Have you ever heard of World of Dave? We're checking out a video from them. From him. 94년도에 한국에서 역대급의 위원인 재고치를 찍었는데, I mean, for comprehensible input, what I like about this is you've got good English translations combined with fairly faithful Korean subtitles. Welcome back.
4년도에 역대급, 이제 한국에서 역대급의 기온인 최고치를 찍었는데 94년도를 뛰어넘는 최고치를 2018년도 오늘 찍었어요.
진짜? 아, 너무 더워 요새.
미쳤어요 정말.
집 나가기 싫어 요새.
계속 올라요 온도가.
그냥 한 번에 다 같이 먹을까?
잘 먹겠습니다.
잘 먹겠습니다.
Yeah, I just like I love these spicy challenges. These are ones I can watch over and over again, just because of Jane's complete deadpan reaction to whatever they give to him.
아우. 물. 빨리 물.
이거는 송주 불냉면이 아니더라도 맵게 달라면 이런 소스 만들어 주시는 것 같은데.
아니야지. 아우. 못 넘기는. 그 정도.
사람은 망각의 동물이다. 제.
근데 맛있어.
맛있어요.
I don't think you are. I think you have to This is often a very individual thing, finding the right sort of materials that are actually capable of holding your interest. County code, but it doesn't say what bloody county. That's annoying. Oh, we've got some sort of like highway or something. Can I get up there? Sounds very frustrating. And it could be partially well, maybe you keep going because you want to achieve the particular result you're going for. I think maybe part of it, okay, this was not a good idea. This did not get me any place useful. Although I saw a palm tree, that's kind of useful. That does begin to make me think that Florida might indeed be where we are. Baraton. Mouse mouth. Yet I haven't come up with that. Holiday Boulevard. .404 area code. Let's just see. Is there a Holiday Boulevard near Boca? Where even exactly is Boca Raton? Is that connected to Miami? Sometimes stepping away is the best thing, but other times also a matter of just being patient with yourself. And understanding that this is a process that inherently takes a certain amount of time. And that you don't actually realize that it's going on until the results start happening. When you say barely any progress, what are you basing that on? Well, I'm just gonna say someplace. Oh, a 666 phone number. Like, but I mean, oh, it was 896 kilometers off. That was by Atlanta. Where exactly? Yeah, Atlanta suburbs. Solo se autorizzati. We are in Italy. That was easy. Where in Italy is going to be complicated, although I'm going to say the north. This looks northern. I mean, when you say barely any progress, are you talking about like speaking or listening or divieto di sosta, no parking? Okay, we can't go any further there. And what stuff have you been using over the past 15 years? Like, what sort of materials do you work with? Yeah, we're in the mountains, definitely. There are a few different sets of mountains that could be. But, say. I mean, listening is hard. It's worth noting. I mean, that takes a lot. It takes a lot of time, a lot of input. It takes the right sort of stuff. It's a good rabbit hole to get down because it's a rabbit hole that leads to more effective methods and away from a lot of the grifting that exists in the world of language learning. Well, that's why it's important to remember the bit about implicit learning, because often the progress is not something you notice. It's just something that is gradually building up. Oh, well, we know it's not impossible for you because you're speaking English. You have acquired at least one language. So that much we can say with some confidence. Like, what sort of stuff have you been doing related to it, say, in the past year? Okay. We're just gonna say someplace up in the Alps. Oh. That frustrating. 4220. Oh, closer then. Like, what sort of input? San Francisco de Assis. San Francisco de Assis. Okay, we are someplace Spanish speaking. Tell me about I almost said sandwich mining. I must be hungry. Sentence mining. Alto, se da el paso. Okay, we're in Central America. Corona, todo con medida. Que a lo mejor estamos en México. Paletería La Michoacana. Sí, estamos en México entonces. Sandwich mining sounds good. I could go for sandwich mining. to bake some marraqueta. Yeah, michelada, chelada, cerveza para llevar. Ah, I see. Okay. Yeah. It's not necessarily medicinas similares. ¿Similares a qué weá, weón? Esa weá. Yeah. I mean, and it also doesn't seem all that I mean, like, the idea of, like, paying attention to sentences with words you don't know is potentially a useful thing. But, I mean, the flashcards and stuff like that, there's no real indication that that's necessarily all that good. Unless, I mean, there is what I call priming, where you look at some sort of material that is preparatory to input in order to make it more comprehensible. But yeah, things that feel like a chore probably are actually pushing you away from the goal. El güero. También otra palabra súper mexicana. Estamos en México. Bueno, voy a suponer que estamos cerca de Michoacán. Vamos bajando a México.
맛있어. 근데 너무 매운데. 너무 매운데. 맛은 괜찮아. 괜찮아? 다 먹었어요. 다 먹었어요? 나 거기서 못 먹겠어.
맛있다. 근데 여기에 약간 계란이랑 그 냉면 먹을 때 이거 추가.
What are your like interests other than language learning? Like, what kind of things are you into? Hobbies, stuff like that. Because finding stuff that connects with that connects the things that you are actually just into with the language is an important thing. Oh yeah, I mean, like, cute journaling. With crochet, I bet you could probably find, I don't know, there might be some how-to videos on crochet. There probably are. I don't know if there are specifically in Korean, but in other languages, surely. Oh well, yeah. I mean, that's not a bad idea at all. If it's well done, then you're connecting what's being done to how they're talking about it, and that can be very helpful. Okay. Yeah, exactly. And just letting it wash over you as well. Tiene marisco, voy a suponer que están más o menos cerca del par. Era esta tal. Ok, bacán. Entonces, caleta de campo. Okay. Aquí tal vez. Not in Michoacán at all, in Guanajuato, in the neighboring state. Otra vez algo tal vez feels southern. Spesialispedag. Okay. We are once again pretty sure in Indonesia. And got the country right. The country is huge. Definitely not my best round. I'm not even gonna manage 20,000 for all 5. Okay, this feels like the US or Canada.
하는 뭐라 하죠? 이렇게
액세서리?
액세서리? 그 열무나 막 이런 게 좀 더 있었으면 진짜 맛있었을 것 같아요. 너무 뭐가 없으니까.
야, 내가 안 가져와서 그래.
아니야. 이거 너무 더워.
에어컨 들자. 네. 괜찮아?
아, 저 지금 땀이.
나도.
저 육수 좀 넣을게요.
오케이, 육수? 보기 안 할 거야.
Okay. I'm gonna look at some other stuff as well. See anything in. Okay, Luca Lampariello. Let's see what he has to say. This is interview with Polyglot Stefano in 8 languages. We're not gonna get to see all of it. It's an hour long, but we're gonna see a little bit. And Luca Lampariello, he's definitely legit, definitely worth listening to on the subject.
Hey guys, I'm super excited today because I hadn't made such a cool multilingual video in a long time. I have a very special guest today. We spoke a bunch of languages about a bunch of topics, and there's a bonus at the end of the video we're going to watch. And the other piece of news,
he's definitely not the
interesting
only
piece of news
legit
today
one.
is that we
There are a
haven't made
bunch.
just one video. We've made
There are a number of less legit ones out there, but he's definitely one of them. Of the people who really know a whole bunch of languages well, he's definitely 9 o'clock to 21 o'clock. Okay, that does not feel like we are in the US. Even though everything else feels US, so now I'm starting to think Canada? Street names. Rue Bertrand, rue Kenny. Yeah, ok, on est au Québec. Tabarnak. Ben, possible qu'il s'agisse de Montréal? Rosemont? No, we're in Manitoba. Ou dollar par dollar. Passe. Okay, I think we might be in Winnipeg. There's a French-speaking bed. Let me see. Couch Polyglot is
Two
one.
different videos, one for my channel.
Let me see. Offhand, Olga Koyeva, who, I mean, she mostly does like interview content, but she's definitely, I mean, she's totally legit. And in fact, if you go to like the online polyglot gatherings, you will find her as like the initiator of basically of like 10, 15 different it's Olga Koyeva, of like 10, 20 different language practice rooms. She's everywhere, and she knows a bunch of languages. Also a musician. Very interesting person. Very, very dedicated to the community. Not a lot of people are familiar with her. She's a much smaller creator like myself, but she's definitely legit.
His channel. So
actually, you'll find me on one of her videos.
If you like what you're going to hear and see, please go to the description box and in the comment section and click on the link, and you will enjoy another very cool multilingual video. Enjoy the show. Hi guys, I'm from sunny Rome. Here is Luca from lucaamperello.com, and I'm here with the legendary Stefano Surigo. Stefano,
he's
how's
also
it going today?
legit.
I'm good. What about you?
I'm great, fantastic. The weather is great. It couldn't be better. For the few left in the world who don't know Stefano Surigo, Stefano is a fantastic polyglot. He speaks a bunch of languages. How many languages do you speak, Stefano?
Well, let's say 10 plus 2.
10 plus 2. Okay. I guess that you speak 10 fluently and 2 you're learning, right? That's the jargon.
More or less.
Jargon for. Okay. And Stefan and I have been thinking of making videos for a couple of years, and we met a couple of times. I think only 2 times at the polyglot gatherings we had it, and at some other language events. We hit it off very well, and I think it was about time to make a video about some interesting stuff, and most of all about language learning, but not only about language learning. We have posted some stuff on Facebook and on Instagram. We've received a lot of questions, both on his channel and on my channel. And here we're gonna talk about a few of them in a few languages with a surprise at the end. So without further ado, Stefan, let's get started. And let's address the very first question, okay?
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yes, I am. And thank you for having me. It's just a privilege to be here with you today.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Well, the pleasure is all mine. So let's get started. I'm going to ask this question. Every question is going to be in English, but then we're going to decide which language you're going to speak in and reply. The first question, Stefano, you can reply first, and then I'm going to go later, okay?
Sure.
So, speak from day one or wait. I wanted to stress the fact that we have condensed some questions, and we're going to thank each and every one of you at the end of the video personally. But we've condensed questions because a lot of questions are gravitate around the same topic. So we just made it short. Speak for day one or wait. So in other words, do you think it's a good idea to, when you first learn a language from scratch, to start from the very beginning? Or you think you should wait until you get the language in you and then speak? What do you think? Stéphane, you're going to reply if you want in en français.
Okay? En français. On va parler français tout d'abord. Bonjour. Alors,
let me just make sure the subs are visible. Yeah, the subs look pretty visible to me.
Bah, pour moi, ça dépend vraiment beaucoup de ce qu'on entend par parler dès le premier jour. N'est-ce pas? Parce que si on parle juste de produire des sons, imiter la prononciation pour l'apprendre le mieux possible, oui, c'est quelque chose que je fais à partir du premier jour quand je commence une nouvelle langue. Parce que pour moi, c'est extrêmement important d'apprendre la prononciation dès le début, très bien. Et donc, je vais produire des sons, je vais essayer d'imiter les natifs, je vais construire des phrases, des bases et parler à haute voix, aussi lire à haute voix. Donc, si ça c'est parler dès les premiers jours, oui, je le fais. Mais ça ne veut pas dire que je vais chercher quelqu'un.
Yeah, I mean, and what he's saying here actually kind of fits in with my process, because I will, like, look at videos and read stuff and read out loud and stuff like that, more or less from the start. The minute I start to be able to, like, pick out phrases and understand what they mean, I will start to kind of just say them and repeat them, just, you know, if I've got nothing else on my mind or something like that. But I also don't necessarily look for somebody to talk to immediately, because I know I'm just not going to be there. So, yeah, I mean, definitely very much.
Partenaire d'échange linguistique ou même un tuteur en ligne dès le premier jour ou la première semaine. Non. D'abord, donc je le fais seulement après une première phase d'apprentissage autonome qui peut être plus ou moins longue selon la langue. Donc en fonction de la, je veux dire, de la distance entre ma langue maternelle ou bien les autres langues que je parle déjà très bien et la nouvelle langue cible. En fonction de ça.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and that is one thing, and one thing to note, as a native speaker of English going to Korean, the distance is significant. So, I mean, it is not a personal failure that that's taking longer. I mean, it took me a really long time to get to the point of fluency in Japanese, way more than other languages. Like, I mean, part of it was resources were not great. I mean, it wasn't easy to find them. I mean, we're talking about late 80s, early 90s. The web really was not what it is today. You know, YouTube didn't exist, Netflix didn't exist, certainly not as a streaming service, because streaming services didn't exist, and I was still sort of tweaking my approach. But, I mean, it was probably about 10 years before I could really have a conversation and really speak properly well in Japanese.
Ça peut durer un mois, 2 mois, 3 mois, même pour les Géorgiens, par exemple, parce que le Géorgien est une langue très, très différente.
Yeah, 100%. Georgian is another one I'm working on a little bit from time to time. And that one takes a lot of getting used to. I mean, the more different it is to your native language... shit, yeah, you're right. That Discord link has expired. I have to... I'll drop this is a non-expired link. I need to fix that, I keep forgetting.
Toutes ceux que j'ai apprises jusqu'ici. Donc, voilà, le but, c'est d'arriver à un niveau qui est suffisant pour, je dirais, mettre en place une vraie communication, une vraie conversation. Et pas seulement bonjour, ça va, merci. Parce que ça n'est pas suffisant pour avoir une vraie conversation. Et surtout, ça ne me met pas...
I'm going to switch over because I noticed there's one on the subject of motivation, and maybe that's something.
The next one is in German. Wie kommt ihr klar? Seid ihr noch motiviert zu lernen? Wenn ja, was hilft euch, am Ball zu bleiben? Und das ist ja natürlicherweise eine interessante Frage. Wir haben darüber ein bisschen schon gesprochen, aber nochmal, Stefano, bitte, kannst du mir deine Meinung?
Eine super gute Frage. Ich glaube, bei mir ist zuallererst der Spaß an der Sprache selbst.
That's also very true for me. That actually often fills gaps in the compellingness of some of the input one finds in harder to find languages. I mean, sometimes the material is boring, but if the language is really interesting, that can kind of bridge that.
Das ist vielleicht ein bisschen anders als wie du es siehst, aber bei mir ist der Spaß an der Sprache selbst mit ihren Eigenschaften, mit den besonderen Lauten und mit der Intonation und den ganzen Strukturen und Ausdrucksmöglichkeiten, die immer wieder anders sind und auch die Verbindung zwischen Sprache und Kultur eines Landes. Das alles und zuzusehen, ja, oder selbst zu erleben, wie das alles von null auf fließend zusammenkommt und fast zu einer zweiten Natur wird, das ist für mich so faszinierend. Und das ist bei jeder Sprache anders. Also jede Sprache ist ein neues Abenteuer und das motiviert mich, weitere Sprachen zu lernen. Es gibt immer Neues zu entdecken. Und dann natürlich die unzähligen Freuden, die ich...
Motivation might be a worthwhile thing to look at.
Die mir bevorstehen, wenn ich endlich
thing, especially it can be really frustrating if you don't feel like you're making progress, which isn't the same thing as not making progress. That is an important thing to keep in mind. Sometimes you don't know that you're making progress until you reach a certain point and then suddenly stuff just unlocks. And you notice, oh shit, I am understanding way more of that than I thought I was going to. Or, you know, I said stuff that I didn't realize I knew how to say. I mean, sometimes progress sneaks up on you, and that's an important thing to keep in mind. You don't necessarily, you can feel like you're not making any progress, and until you find yourself in a situation where the progress you have in fact actually made and don't realize it just comes into play.
Eine neue Sprache sprechen kann, aber auch, bei mir ist das besonders wichtig, während des eigentlichen Lernprozesses. Ich denke nicht nur daran, wenn ich diese Sprache endlich fließen kann, sondern das Lernen an und für sich ist schon Spaß für mich. Ja. Das macht es einfacher. Also, ja, und auch während des Lernprozesses.
I wouldn't bother tracking them. Because, I mean, yeah, people will say, oh, this many hours equals this much progress or something like that. But the trouble is that I don't really think there's much utility in thinking of it that way. Because it's going to depend on the match between the person doing it and the materials they're immersing themselves in and stuff like that. I mean, so comparisons in this case, I think, are rather odious because a lot of the time, like, if you oh, well, I mean, if you enjoy doing it, then that's cool. But, I mean, I wouldn't, you know, if you're hearing somebody say, some people say, you know, there's some channels that'll be like, oh, well, if you do, like, 1,000 hours of immersion or something like that, then these certain things unlock for you. But it's going to depend on what you're immersing yourself in, what kind of content you're looking at. Is it something that you actually find interesting? Is it the right stuff for you? And some people are going to take longer, and some people are going to take a shorter time. And so, like, you know, drawing too many conclusions from what you should expect of yourself at a certain point can do more harm than good. The point is, the key is that you probably are making some kind of progress if you're doing it, even if you don't necessarily realize it. Connections are gradually being made.
Freue ich mich auf tiefsinnige Gespräche mit anderen Leuten, auf den Zugang, ja, auf Inhalte, die mir sonst nicht verfügbar wären. Was noch? Manchmal auch, es gibt ein besonderes Zugehörigkeitsgefühl, also die Freude, in einer Gruppe zu sein und sich Teil dieser Gruppe zu fühlen. Ja. Das ist was ganz Besonderes. Auch das motiviert mich weiter. Und ansonsten natürlich, ja, also der der Spaß und der Erfolg, die ich bisher mit dem Sprachenlernen gehabt habe, da möchte ich natürlich noch weitermachen und ich möchte nicht darauf verzichten, neue Welten zu entdecken, wie
Yeah.
gesagt. Ja, und das ist mehr oder
Das ist ja
weniger
alles.
meine Antwort, ja. Und
Ich hatte
bei dir?
eine kleine Frage für dich. Du hast gesagt, du liebst diese grammatikalischen und die Kleinigkeiten, im Allgemeinen die Kleinigkeiten einer Sprache. Und ich kann mir
I also find that stuff fascinating.
vorstellen, nicht alle lieben Fremdsprachen wie du, ja. Aber ja, ich dachte, ich liebe diese Kleinigkeiten, aber ich frage mich, ob du eigentlich ein Grammar Freak, auf Englisch sagt man ein Grammar Freak, und du liebst die Grammatik einer Sprache, gefällt dir also nicht nur die Grammatik, aber auch die grammatikalischen Regeln zu lernen, jeden Tag zu lernen. Und, ja, okay.
Ja. Also nicht unbedingt jeden Tag, aber das ist schon ein Teil einer Sprache. Ja, das ist
Yeah, for me, it's like I nerd out about like grammatical stuff, but I don't spend a lot of time obsessively like studying grammar. I've never really found a whole lot of benefit from that. I will sometimes skim reference grammars just to give myself an idea. Oh, okay, these are endings that I can expect to see. Okay, this is like, you know, for example, I don't know, in languages like Arabic or Hebrew where everything's built around consonant structures, consonant patterns. Oh, okay, so this is kind of what an adjective describing a person doing a thing might look like and stuff like that, and just sort of skim it over without trying to memorize anything. Just as, again, what I like to call priming, just giving some more points of reference.
Teil meiner Sprache, der mich anspricht.
Das ist, was dich
Grammatikliebhaber, das kann man sagen.
Okay. Teilweise, manchmal motiviert das auch, ja?
Ja.
In meinem Fall, wir haben das schon gesagt, wir sind ein bisschen anders. Es ist ja ganz normal, wir haben Ähnlichkeiten, aber auch es gibt Dinge, die wir anders machen. In meinem Fall muss ich sagen, die Leute, die denken einfach, oh, ein Polyglott, der muss eigentlich die Grammatik lieben. In meinem Fall, ich weiß nicht, ob das stimmt. Ich liebe die Grammatik. Ich weiß, dass es wichtig ist, dass es eine wichtige Rolle spielt und du musst auf jeden Fall die Grammatik lernen, um eine Sprache gut zu sprechen, um dich gut zu äußern. Aber einerseits weiß ich nicht, ob ich da...
I mean, and that's one of the things, you can use all sorts of things for priming. Like, I mean, I was talking about this with that World of Dave video, for example, because you've got the subtitles there in Korean and in English, good translation. And if you, like, look at those and pay attention to those and then watch it again, so you're noticing the words as they're being said, you know, you've got them written down for you so you can kind of pay attention and notice them and become more attuned to them. And that can help you then understand more of what's going on. It can help you make more connections, because the more connections you make, the more connections become available. It's like technology trees in games like Civilization or whatever, where it's like you've unlocked mysticism. Now you can make, I don't know, Ren fairs or something. I don't fucking remember what the technology tree around mysticism is. But it's the same sort of thing. You are making a connection that brings you a little bit closer to other potential connections. And so, like, that sort of thing, in whatever format you do it in, can be really helpful in order to get the most out of the input.
Ob ich das im Ganzen liebe, ja? Was ich glaube, was mich am meisten motiviert, ist die Möglichkeit, eine Sprache früher oder später mit Muttersprachlern zu benutzen. Ja? Wir haben das schon gesagt. Ich kann mir vorstellen, jedes Mal, dass ich mich auf meinen Schreibtisch setze, fange ich an zu denken, ja, wie wird mein Leben in der Zukunft sein? Ich weiß nicht, ich kann mir vorstellen, ich habe das gemacht, das war es auf Deutsch, auf Niederländisch oder auf
If you have Netflix, I mean, another good example. Have you heard of Language Reactor? These days, I think you have to pay for it, or you only get a certain free trial or something like that. But it allows you to have 2 sets of subtitles. And with any kind of like Netflix original content, you can get all sorts of audio languages and all sorts of subtitle languages. Like I had noticed that there was a new Beverly Hills Cop movie on Netflix, and I think it had like 20 different language options, audio languages. Yeah, with YouTube, it's really not good. I have not had good experiences with it on YouTube. Like, because with YouTube, it is often dealing with these crappy machine-generated subtitles. Whereas with Netflix, it is harvesting all of the available subtitles that they've created. Well, I mean, like with movies as well, you can get them. And so those are legit subtitles. I mean, there are problems in Netflix subtitles. Sometimes they're not all that great in some languages, I've found. But overall, I would say much better quality than what you get on on YouTube. Like, because a lot of them are machine generated and nobody has gone through and checked to see if they're right. And so they just suck. And actually, I find it actually becomes harder to understand. What things do you like to watch? Because I bet there is a way to find them in the languages that would interest you. Almost certainly there is some way. It may involve a VPN. I like to use Muldad for that. But there are quite a few options. There, and I'm just noticing the time, and it is time to be wrapping up gradually. No, it's not. You're not crap at doing this. The thing is that this is not something that you really get taught how to do, and it's a complicated thing to do. It is a really complicated thing to do, especially when you don't really have people preparing you to do it. Like, I mean, for the most part, school does not do a good job with language learning. It does not do a good job in particular with teaching good language learning and language acquisition habits. So you are often very much on your own to work out good ways of doing it. And that is a challenge. That is inherently a challenge, because in that sort of situation, you have like some broad guidelines from people who know what they're talking about. Then there's a whole lot of noise from companies that are making a whole lot of money with ineffective monetized methods. And it's not easy. I mean, like, what you're seeing with me is the result of having worked this shit out through trial and error, actually from a fairly early on. I was already starting to teach myself languages and starting to experiment with methods and stuff like that when I was 8, 9 years old and stuff like that. I've had a long time to sort of work on how it works best with me. It's been a couple of years since you started hearing about, these approaches that involve input-based stuff and TPRS and stuff like that. And so you are just finding a way. I would reframe that. Because it isn't a matter of you being like something. It is a matter of these methods not being something that people are introduced to early in life, so that they can experiment and work out through trial and error the best ways to apply them to themselves. you've been working on it a couple of years and you haven't quite got there, and you're probably making more progress than you realize because so much of the stuff is unconscious and therefore you don't notice that it's happening. But I mean, it isn't that you suck at this. Is that it's complicated. It's not hard once you figure out the best way to apply these broad approaches to yourself, but it is complicated to get there in the first place. And so, I mean, don't be so hard on yourself. Don't assume that because you don't feel like you're getting anywhere that you're not getting anywhere. And don't assume that if you, in fact, aren't really making progress, which is not the same thing as not feeling like you're making progress. That is an important distinction to remember, that it's you. It may very well be that you just have not completely found the sweet spot. Because, I know where my sweet spots are when it comes to language acquisition. I know the things I can go to and immediately really begin to get a grasp of it that work best for me. Like things like finding the firm in translation. That's a very specific me thing. You need to find the exact right way to apply it to yourself, and that just requires experimentation, and it means accepting that it's not always going to work and that it is just part of figuring these things out. To a certain extent, other people can help you with that process by figuring out and narrowing down the best things that will hold your interest and do your sorts of thing, do what you need them to do. But the thing to remember is, this isn't you. This is actually just difficult. It is complicated, and it takes time, and you should be patient with yourself, and let things have a chance to work, but also recognize that you are always going to be, finding refinements as you go along. So, I would say a big part of it is just learning to frame this as not... Because I'm just noticing the way you talk about this. You often frame it in terms of you're just not good at it, or it's something inherent about you. And I would say don't assume that. Assume there are inherent complexities in the process, and there are inherent difficulties in finding the best way for that process to apply to you personally. Those are all complicated things. And of course, you're not going to immediately, unless you're extremely lucky, and you just hit it off exactly right from the start, there's going to be some time where you're, maybe not necessarily making a huge amount of headway, or you find that the resources that you're working with aren't really great, aren't necessarily ideal, and it's a process, it's complicated, and it's not you. If you start to think of it in terms of, oh, I just suck at this or something like that, then that actually forecloses options. If you think of it more in terms of, maybe the stuff I'm working with isn't great, or maybe I am making more progress than I think I am, but it is implicit learning, so you don't necessarily realize it. And you just keep your eye out for things that might help more than stuff you're currently working with, then you can possibly be on the right path. That you have to be patient with yourself, though, and you have to have the sort of patience to let things play out, and the flexibility to notice when maybe something might need a bit of a change, and to notice when there's something that runs across your path that might be better. Maybe it may take time, patient, but it's a continuous process figuring out the best ways to do things, and on a certain level, you also have to just sort of enjoy the process. But it is time for me to wrap up. I will be back. I'll be on Twitch tomorrow, same time. 4:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. And we will look at, we'll play some more games, and we will do some more looking at the best and worst of language YouTube. Oh, well, yeah. Thank you for bringing these thoughts to the chat, actually. Because what you're giving... thank you, Riveroon. You're saying very important things right there. By talking about this stuff, Hyojong, you are giving me stuff to talk about on the subject I'm here to talk about. You have helped me by doing this, and I just hope that I have helped you at least somewhat with what I'm saying. It's actually really good. Because the thing is, Hyojong, there are lots of people who feel like this. I run it, believe me, I mean, as somebody who does a lot of language stuff and is, like, known amongst people who know me, which is a very small group of people, as somebody who is, you know, a language person and stuff like that, yeah, I hear lots of people who are saying, like, oh, I'm just crap at languages. And it's like, no, probably you're not. Probably you have not found a great way to do it. And don't put pressure on yourself. Just enjoy it. Find something you enjoy listening to or watching, and don't, you know, be patient with yourself. Try to just enjoy the thing. And what you gain from it language-wise, you will gain for it gradually. It will become apparent over time. Try to inherently enjoy the thing that you're enjoying. And just, you know, sort of chill out on yourself and be patient with yourself, and we'll be back tomorrow on Twitch. I look forward to seeing you, and really, thank you for talking about this stuff. It gives me stuff to talk about. Have a good evening. Time for me to eat dinner things.